All right, Virgo and Virgo Rising. So you guys are gonna have a Mercury um, going into your fifth house on January 1st. So the very first day of January, you're getting it started with Mercury entering into Capricorn in your fifth house in the probably in the afternoon Central Time, Eastern Time. Um, what I think this is because you already had Mars and the Sun and Venus already in the fifth house, so it seems like there's been a spotlight, an interest, possibly even a relationship, actions and around uh, fun, entertainment, pleasure, children, um, romance, play. This is the fifth house, so you already been kind of doing these things in December, in late December, and it seems like with Mercury lagging behind in Sagittarius in your fourth house, there's probably been thoughts still lingering about some type of family matter or home matter or private matter that you've been dealing with since maybe November, early November or October, late October. And so now it seems like January 1st, all right, you're all in on whatever the new focus is, which, like I said, fun, children, creativity, if you're in a creative flow right now, creating things. So it seems like January 1st, yeah, you're pretty much all in. Thoughts, everything's kind of going into that. And then on the 3rd, you're going to see a full moon going into Cancer, and Cancer is your 11th house. So this is going to oppose the things that's going on in your fifth house that we just talked about. And with that Cancer, you all that with that moon in Cancer, you also have Jupiter there, and Jupiter's exalted in Cancer, and the moon rules Cancer. So like that's a lot of good dignity and power in that house. And then you also in Capricorn in the fifth house have Mars that's exalted, and that's a strong energy there. Mars loves being in Capricorn. So there's this maybe opposition, tension that's going on between 11th house, which is your friendships, communities, tribe, or hopes, dreams, aspirations, things you hope to aspire to, um, collective endeavors that you might be going towards, global awareness. So it seems like it's a balance between that and this kind of fun and creative thing that you got going on in Capricorn, or if it's children related things you got going on in this fifth house in Capricorn. And this is happening on the 3rd full moon, so something should be like being brought to your attention because it's a full moon. So usually it's a culmination. It's like a point where like you can see it. Like usually thinking about the full moon in the sky, you can see it. It's very visible. So something very visible should be coming around this time, around these topics. And to be honest, all the way up until the 10th, even, because like on the 10th, you're going to have that same Jupiter in Cancer and that same Mars in uh, fifth house Capricorn coming to an exact opposition at 20 degrees. So, like, I think this might even be stronger than what's going on on the 3rd. So it could play out so many different ways. Um, it could be maybe because like at that point you got 4 planets in Capricorn in the fifth house, and then Jupiter is going to be by itself once the moon moves on after a day. Um, you're gonna have all those planets kind of pulling interest into that fifth house, and then something about Jupiter in that 11th house maybe wants to find the truth, the meaning of something. Um, Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting for the first half of the month, and it's gonna be uh, revolving around fifth house topics: fun, pleasure, or romance, or children, and then also that's gonna be in some type of conversation or connection with groups that you're involved in or thinking about, and maybe dreams and wishes and things you're aspiring, big goals, big grand goals that you got. So yeah, and then on the 16th, you're gonna have um, the moon also join into the fifth house of Capricorn. So now it's opposing where it was during the full moon, getting ready to conjunct the sun for a new moon. Um, but yeah, that's five planets in Capricorn. So I think even all the way up to at least the 16th, there's just this focus on the fifth house of children, fun, pleasure, romance. Yeah. And then the next day after the 16th, you're going to have Venus moving into, on the 17th, moving into Aquarius, your sixth house. So this could, in sixth house, is usually health, work, routines. So something about this area has caught Venus's eye and attention and interest, and it's usually probably going to be something pleasurable to some degree, or just curious. And since Venus is the first one to leave out of Capricorn into the sixth house, it's kind of leading the way, and I think that something's gonna capture your interest first, or a relationship might happen at work, or like some romantic interest might happen at work. Maybe that romantic thing that was going on in the fifth house for some of you uh, either becomes work itself, or I don't know. It could play out different ways. But then the sun's gonna enter into there. The Mercury's gonna enter into there. Moon for a couple days, and Mars is gonna enter shortly after. And even on the next day, on the 18th, you got the new moon, which is in Capricorn still, but it's at 28 degrees, which is almost entering into Aquarius. And Venus is going to be at 1 degree, so they're very close. So I think Venus might have something to say what's going on in that sixth house about this new moon, which new moons are usually a new start of something happening, something new's happening. And since it's starting with that fifth house, it could be some type of romantic. I'm looking at like some type of romantic relationship, uh, leading to some type of routine, maybe between you and somebody, or it could be a health thing. Also, if you you could be starting some creative project. I think this is maybe even more likely, and then you start really working on it. Once Venus gets in the sixth house, you're liking it, and you're gonna start working on it. And then as these planets start to roll through from the 17th, Venus being the first, and then all the way up until the 27th is when Mars finally, or no, all the way up until I think the 23rd is when Mars finally gets in. Yeah, you got all this energy and focus on that sixth house, whether it's health related things, work related things. And another thing to note is that you got Pluto at 3 degrees. So as all these planets are coming in, they're also all coming into contact with Pluto, who wants to strip you of things, wants to transform things, wants to go deep, make things intense. So yeah, it could be a lot of things. Either you're really getting involved in your work, or you're really getting involved deep into some type of relationship, uh, work relationship, possibly even. Maybe you're working on a relationship. And this is, like I said, for Venus enters on the 17th, and I think it conjuncts Pluto on the 19th. On the 19th. And then Mars conjuncts Pluto is the last to conjunct Pluto on the 27th. So yeah, there's gonna be this shift from all the fun, creative things, maybe some type of friendship groups type stuff, aspiration dreams, which could still be in play. To boom, now we're working, now we're grinding, because sixth house is more like a grind. Uh, or it could be health, like I said, health related things, some type of routine or something's going on. So yeah, I'd really be checking for that. And then on the 26th, you got Neptune moving into Aries, which is your eighth house of intimacy. So I think this even speaks more to relationships possibly that are, I don't know, evolving and developing for some of you. And Neptune is dreamy, is intuition. It can be illusions too sometimes, but the dreamer. So it's entering into the eighth house of intimacy. Also, this is a house of debts, shared assets, loans. It could be death, um, transformations, things transforming. So I definitely see for a lot of you maybe some type of fun relationship that was happening while all these planets were in Capricorn ends up becoming serious. Like it becomes a serious relationship where you're getting serious. Like I could definitely see that for a lot of Virgo rising. So very interesting. I'll probably make, like I said, some videos about the full moon, the new moon, and Neptune and Neptune going into Aries and Saturn going into Aries. So definitely check those out too, where I'll more than likely go even deeper than I am in this video. But yeah, definitely it seems like an interesting month. The first half, a lot of fun, maybe hanging out with friends or things involving around friends. And then it seems like especially if you're in a creative state right now, you're working on things creatively. Seems like yeah, you'll definitely like get working come the second half of January. So definitely leave a comment. Let me know how that turns out for you guys because it looks interesting for sure.